Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Cahill and welcome to my little corner of the writing universe. Today I'm going to be talking about taking a break as a writer. Taking a break is arguably one of the most important things that a writer can do, not only for themselves but for their inspiration, for their motivation, for their sanity. It's not something we like to think about, of course. I think a lot of writers have had it sort of drummed into their heads that you need to write every day in order to be a good writer, which is not true, and I'm telling you that now. Breaks are a very important part of the writing process. Taking breaks can help stave off things like eventual burnout if you're working too long or too hard on a project. It can refresh your mind and your motivation, and it can also help to give you new perspective or new ideas on the work that you are currently doing. I am the type of writer who hates not working. I get very down about myself. I get very anxious and stressed if I know that I need to write but I have not written. On those days I really cannot muster up the strength or motivation to do so, and that can very easily turn into a very vicious circle which just sort of dampens my motivation even more, so I break for longer. But I'm getting used to purposely not writing on days like this because I know that forcing myself to do so is not going to end well for me, and it's not going to end well for my writing. Today I'm going to talk about some warning signs that I usually get that tell me that I do need to take a break even if I don't want to. The first one is naturally not writing, or avoiding writing, or doing anything else except for writing. Let's face it, writing can be hard, it can be difficult, it can be stressful. Everyone has the things that they enjoy with writing, and everyone has the things that they don't like about writing. I hate outlining, I can't stand it, but I know that for me, with my style of writing, like, I need to do it in order for me to work effectively going forward. Some people don't like the drafting phase, some people might not like revising or editing. Some people, especially if you are self-published, the marketing side of things, the social media side of things, like, there's always one thing that you just don't like to do, that you just can't stand to do. The fact of the matter is, if you are a full-time writer, if writing is your career, or if you are very, very serious about being published, whether that is self-published, indie published, traditionally published, whatever, sometimes you do have to push through and get it done. But there are those moments where you have no TV on, you're physically sitting in front of your work with it open and it's the only thing that you are currently focusing on, and you still can't do it. You cannot physically force yourself to do the work. Then that is the time that you know you need to step back and you need to take a break. The second thing that tells me that I definitely need to take a break is when my plot makes no sense whatsoever, and I cannot make it make sense. And I cannot sort out the plot holes with all of the ways that I know how to talk myself out of plot holes, and nothing is going right and nothing is working no matter what I do. Plots are difficult, okay? Plots are the single most difficult thing in writing. You've got to think about the beginning, you've got to think about the end. Don't even get me started with the crap fest that is the middle of the novel. Then you've got to think about things like timelines and scenes and character arcs, making sure that you've added and resolved all of your subplots, making the entire thing make some semblance of sense. I've learned very quickly that continuing to push myself to work on any issues that my plot has until that issue is solved does not work. Stepping away for a few days, doing something else, helps me refresh my mind. When I come back to it, I'm looking at it with sort of new eyes. It's a lot easier to untangle the mess of plot when I'm not so focused on it. When the exhaustion hits. Now, I'm a mum of 4, so I am perpetually tired. I have a severe case of revenge procrastination bedtime, so that never helps me out either. So I'm constantly in a state of tiredness when I do any and all of my work towards my writing. But there are those times when my body feels it, my brain feels it. Those times where I can think of nothing more than dissolving into a blanket burrito on my sofa and not caring or doing anything at all. Those are the extreme points of exhaustion. That is when I know I need to stop and take a break, because I know full well that if I continue working, I will experience burnout and I will not be writing for weeks instead of days. As a writer, it's really important for you to learn the limits of your productivity, of your motivation, of your exhaustion. You need to learn when you can continue and you'll be okay, or when you know you need to stop. You need to learn those very specific points in time where continuing writing is only going to set you back. Years of burnout, years of experienced burnout have very effectively taught me when burnout is going to hit, so I know when to scale it back or stop, so I can completely avoid the burnout happening. Listen to your head and listen to your body. You know those moments where you just hate everything that you're writing and everything that you're doing, and everything you're doing sucks immensely? Yeah, that's the point. You need to stop what you're doing. Writing is stressful, but it is also supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be creative and inspirational. When you feel that moment of dread at the thought of having to write, or you just resent everything that you're doing and everything that you're writing, that is a clear sign that you need to stop and take a break from that particular project. We don't drink, we don't eat, we don't sleep, we push everything self-care wise aside on various writing days, or when we're in the zone, or if we write professionally and we have a deadline, or we've got something really important that we need to do by a specific time. And obviously working so hard like that is going to push us to our limits. The moment the dread hits, even if you have a deadline, you need to stop, even if it is for a few hours. You need to refresh your creative well. You need to take a step back and allow yourself space before you go back into it, because hating what you're writing is not very conducive to a good writing session, and it's not going to be very good for you either. The great thing about breaks is that they are different for everybody. Taking a break does not necessarily mean that you have to not write. It depends on what type of break you are taking and what type of break you and your brain actually need to have. If you work on multiple projects, it's very easy to cycle through the different projects. Once you feel you've lost inspirational motivation for one, you can very easily move on to another. You are still taking a break from the project that is causing you issues, and you're working on something else instead. That will keep you productive, and it will help keep your mind fresh from the first project while you've just technically taken a break from the second project. So just because you're taking a break from writing does not mean you have to stop working on anything related to your novel. There are a million creative ways you can still work on your novel without physically writing it. You can scour through Pinterest and look for mood boards and aesthetics, settings, face claims for your characters. You've got people who make their own music playlists. You can do writing adjacent work, such as filling in random prompts, writing fan fiction, or even trying to come up with a new idea. Then there are those moments, of course, when you are in severe burnout and you need a severe break, and you just can't with anything writing related. You just can't with anything social media related, and you just need to withdraw yourself into a little bubble of blanket and just be by yourself until your body is rested and your mind is clear. There is no right way to take a break, and you should do whatever it is that you need to do, or you feel that you need to do, in order for you to get to the space where you can work on your project again. You know those times where you really, really want to do some writing, but it's always at the time that you physically can't do it? It's like that. If I take a break, I take a break. I do my best to not write anything at all, because then my desire to write will come flooding back once my break is over, and I'll be more determined to write than ever. It's sort of the backwards version of I can't watch Netflix until I've written this amount of words. It's I'm not allowed to write anything until I have had a 3-hour break. By the end of that 3-hour break, I'm itching to do some more writing, and I'm usually a little bit more productive than if I had started writing a little bit earlier. Now, I know that a lot of writers out there feel bad, they feel guilty, they feel like they're not good writers if they do not write every day. Please, please, please don't let yourself feel this way. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. I struggle with it constantly. I struggle with it still. I always get really stressed and I get really down if I am not writing when I know I should be. But by doing so, the stress that you felt while writing is still there during your break, and then it doesn't feel like a real break. So you're still worrying about writing, you're still stressing about what you need to do and the fact that you're not doing it. You need to give yourself permission to rest. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to not be writing. Don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise. The one and only rule of writing is that the writer comes first. Self-care, self-preservation is extremely important. Your writing is not going to be good if you, the writer, are not feeling good. On the flip side though, however, too many breaks usually means that there is something else going on beneath the surface. If you find yourself constantly taking breaks from a specific project because it is stressing you out or because something isn't working, you need to sit down and really think about what the actual issue is that you are having with this project. Maybe you don't like it as much as you thought you did. Maybe you're just not ready to tackle such a big project at this specific moment in your writing journey. It's okay to struggle while you write. It's natural. It's okay to take a break. It's expected. Do what you need to do for yourself to make writing fun again. Because writing shouldn't be a chore. It should be enjoyable. That's everything for this video. Let me know down in the comments below. What's the longest that you've ever taken a break for? How do you know when you need to stop and work on something else? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.